Are you tired of putting yourself last? Of taking care of everybody else's needs and powering through to meet the next set of impossible standards? In our fast-paced society, we lose touch with our intrinsic worth, with the ability to value ourselves for who we are right now. Instead of living life exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected from your authentic self, maybe it's time to put yourself back in the life you've worked so hard to create. Join radio host and life choreographer Lora Cheadle and learn how to build your dreams and live your sparkle using the 5 steps of flaunt. Find your fetish, laugh out loud, accept unconditionally, navigate the negative, and trust in your truth.
Hello, welcome to Flaunt. Build your dreams and live your sparkle. I'm Lora Cheadle, and today I would like to talk about healing. And I am bringing on an incredible special guest who also has got a passion for healing. Now, I'm going to let her introduce more of her and her story and her brand, but I'm just going to start by saying today's guest is Anne Bigging, and she grew up in post-war Germany. So, as you might imagine, healing is something that has been in the forefront of her mind for a long time. And she is also the founder of Healing Hotels. Now, I bet you're all saying, Healing Hotels? That sounds marvelous. What is that? Well, that's why we have Anne on our show today, because she is going to talk to us a little bit about herself, her story, healing hotels of the world, and how she has learned to flaunt during her entire experience. So, Anne, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my dear Laura. It's a pleasure, and thank you for inviting me. And it's a pleasure to be with you and with you all. I'm actually sitting here in Vienna in my daughter's flat. I'm looking out of the window, blue sky, a few little white clouds, and it's awesome. Very healing.
It is very healing. And you know, as I was doing the intro to the show, and then as you were saying that, I was thinking, I too, right now, I'm recording this show actually from my mountain home in Colorado. And this is a place I go when I need some healing.
Well, I could turn this around as an ex-journalist and would ask Laura, what is healing for you?
You know, and that's exactly what I was going to talk to you about. So let's each talk about our definition of healing, because that way we will sort of be on the same page, and our listeners will also know exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Yes, beautiful. So, so who is doing the interview? Oh, who is it, you or me?
Anne, I'm going to start interviewing you. I would love to hear your definition of healing and kind of how that definition has evolved for you throughout your lifetime, because boy, do you have an interesting past.
Yes, as you know, no, you don't know because you're much younger than me, but in life, if you're very lucky, very happy, then challenges await you. You know, if you're a lucky person, you have to overcome a lot of challenges. And I was lucky. So I think it's a great question, because even since we started to find healing hotels of the world, by the way, with healing hotels of the world. So even since we started this, and the idea was born about 14, 15 years ago, and then finally, you know, make it happen 12 years ago, it really has changed dramatically. As I think humanity is changing. So what started, and please, Laura, I have a tendency to go, please stop me. Now, what started me initially was actually, yes, you know, being born in the 50s in Germany was an interesting place, and left you nothing but, you know, you just had to go upwards. There was no way then, you know, looking left or right, what shall I do? For me, there was only one way. And that was grow. I mean, grow, baby, grow. So, and that started when I was very young, like I remember it was 6 or 7 or 8 years. I thought, really? There must be something. There must be more. And no, so this is what happened. And then when you go through life, and then you go through, to marriage and a child, and I very early I went to the States to study at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas, in the 70s, and all of that, putting together, different careers as a journalist and a PR person and an advertising writer. Writing was always the thing. But I found out actually later, after my daughter was born, that I feel energies. I always thought I'm strange. Why am I not as, tough, rounded as other people? Why can I not stand things and stand others? So it took a long time to really find out that I can feel energies. I feel it from places, from the earth, definitely. And also from other people. So as the saying goes, one thing led to the other, and it's a progress, and it will never end, hopefully.
Absolutely. And when you said I feel energies, there is such truth to that. And I feel energies too. And it's my belief that all humans are capable of that. It's just that they kind of shut it down because they're not encouraged, and we don't have the language to express what it is we're feeling. And to me, you had asked me about healing. I think part of healing is getting back in touch with some of our innate gifts and abilities. And one of those innate gifts and abilities is the ability to feel energy. And that's what fascinates me so much about Healing Hotels of the World. You've got hotels all over the world in some pretty powerful locations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, to really put this into words is so difficult, Laura. I mean, we all know that we have to stay away from, blah, blah. And because it's a pretty serious and pretty sacred thing, what we are talking about. So I believe the first part of what you said, since my understanding now is that all is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Nothing is not consciousness. So human beings are consciousness. The earth is consciousness. There's nothing this is not. So everything can happen, and everybody, now every person, I think, of course, how do I know? But I think that we all have the ability to feel one another. Otherwise, we wouldn't fall in love, right?
Yes.
Excuse me. To feel one another. To falling in love means, I think, it means I know you. I have seen you. I have felt you, and so yes, I think, and then things happen. We are born fresh and hopefully in good spirit, and then society takes over. And if we are not very super strong in the beginning, which very few of us are, then we take on the stuff from other people, so-called society, and then we lose that. But I think I love your definition of healing. I just took a note. Healing is to really get in touch with our innate wisdom. That's it. Basically. But how do we do it? That's the question.
Absolutely. And I think that is kind of a problem that a lot of listeners, but a lot of humanity has been facing. We feel pain. We feel some kind of disconnection, and we know that there's something more, but we're not sure how to achieve that something more. We're not sure what it is.
Yeah, you know what? I think we can fly to the moon, and people think about flying to Mars. That's nothing, versus going into your heart. I think that's the most sensitive, difficult, challenging journey a human person can take.
Yes.
Because it takes so much. You literally, in the end, you let go of everything you should know, you think you knew, to dive into the unknown, and that's what we call the heart, and I think there's where all the truth lies, and from there really healing happens, and I think that I'm sure this is why actually I feel it's a crazy thing what we do, because it has never been done, and it's a handful of passionate people from all over the world doing this. There's no big organization behind it, but we all feel that passion and passion. And if you put the word compassion, and I don't mean it in a romantic way, I mean it in a very practical way. If you see people, like you have children and you see, you know, if they don't go there, they don't have to be in pain, right? So we see that with, and what can we say, especially when they're teenagers? We can't say anything, so we just have to taste them, the pain. And I think so when you are listening to conversations, and especially let's not go into any culture, but especially people who do have a lot of means and are able to run away from challenges, because what do? You just get on the next flight, you go shopping, blah blah blah, but it doesn't heal you. It doesn't heal your pain. So I think you see that, and you would know way better. And at the same time, you can't be preaching. Mm-hmm. That's a challenge for us, because we know it. I mean, all of us who are in that, who brought this up and who are working there, we know at least part of the way. So we want to give it, and it's not easy, because first of all, what words do we use? Yeah, we don't want to overrule people. We don't want to sound dogmatic or something. So it's not easy, and it's but it's really that's the reason for it. You feel there is something you can do. People could help themselves.
Yes.
And then the hotels come in, and I think that is where my idea about healing hotels started, when I was sitting on an island in Australia, Hinchinbrook Island, which is in Queensland, and it was just, I went there, it was raining, I was invited to help the hotel it was before I found healing hotels, and so I was guided to a tree house, and I thought, oh my God, this is such a rundown place, I wish I could put my hands on. And I went into the tree house pretty reluctant, but then I woke up next morning totally renewed and refreshed. There was an energy of peace, of freedom, of beauty. And I thought, because it was an, indigenous people praying place, I found out later. So I thought, if we build hotels, I mean, nice hotels, good hotels, very comfortable ones, in places where the energy from the earth chakras is supporting us.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah, it's magic. The first step of flaunt is an acronym, and the very first letter, F, stands for find your fetish. And it's always been my belief that when we have an experience like you described, it creates this fetish, it creates this passion, and it drives us to create miraculous things. And you felt it. You woke up in this place that you kind of, sounds like, didn't necessarily even really want to be, and then you went, I need to bring this to the world.
Yes.
And this is how I need to do it.
Yes, it was really magic. I mean, it was nothing, where you sit in a boardroom and say, okay, guy, what do we do? Blah, 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 it was really born from, and born from I have to say that it's, born from my own healing journey.
Yes.
I knew from my own experiences that it can happen, that I can heal myself from pretty tough depressions and stuff like that. Nothing clinical, but, challenging times.
Yes, because life is difficult.
Yes.
This is a bit of a segue, but I'm going to make it, and we'll bring it all right back. Just last week in the US, we had, the last 2 weeks, 3 mass shootings within 2 weeks. Yeah. And it was obviously very distressing to me, as well as to just about everybody, not only in the US, but in the world.
Of course.
I started researching, because I thought there's more than one factor. There's a lot of things that are leading to this, but the root cause is people are not being healed. These shooters have got such intense pain that they're acting out in horrific ways. And yes, access to guns can be part of it. And yes, mental health can be part of it. But I kept going back to the root cause is people are in pain and they've got an expectation that is not being met somehow. And I wrote a blog on it, and I'll actually post the blog on this radio show and share it with you. But I feel like some of the stuff that you're doing addresses so many other symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled up the Healing Hotel website, and just for the listeners, it says, we are more than a hotel brand. We are a movement. It's your healing journey to a path of self-alignment. It allows you to explore who you truly are. These oases of beauty support a soothing path towards inner happiness. All of our hotels inspire personal transformation. They offer programs that will support you in your search for living a happy, healthier, and fulfilled life. And there's different, like a detox, weight loss, healthy aging, spirituality, medical, thermal, anti-stress. There's a big variety. Because like Anne was saying, we all have different pain. If she was born in the 50s in Germany, her experience is different than mine, being born in the late 60s in the US. It doesn't mean one of us has more pain than the other, but we still need healing in different ways. And Healing Hotels gives people the opportunity to reach out and address the issues that are confronting them so they can heal and transform and not act out or not just live a miserable life as a bitter human being.
Mm-hmm. Lora, having been a journalist, also political journalist in the 80s, blah, 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 blah. So I've been there.
Yes.
So I'm very careful with pointing fingers. I'm very careful with making others responsible for things in the world, because I think if we believe that we are all one, then it may be important that we look each one of us into our shadow sides. And that doesn't mean, it has nothing to do, and I learned that as a German very, very well, very painful, It doesn't have anything to do with guilt or with not even with, let's say, guilt, because it has to do with stuff happens now in a terrible way in the States. It happens in other places. And are we allowing this to happen? Are we allowing people to take on leadership? I mean the world family. I'm not German or American. I'm a world citizen.
Yes.
So do we as world citizens allow people to take over or not the right people? Why do we allow that? What is happening? Why do we need to see the shadow stronger so we can work it all over? Mm-hmm. It makes me, every time this happens, apart from, all these incredible sadness and, but at the same time, it likes me looking into where am I? What is my part in this? Even where I've lived so far away, I'm part of everything. So I think that Healing Hotels, and we are a global group of people. We happen to be headquartered in Germany, but we are a global group of people. Live everywhere, in China and in the States and in blah, 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 in England and so on. So what are we, with this, it's a movement. That's what I mean. It's a movement. I was just in China because we do consult places there and also the government to a certain extent. And you really can we spoke to them and said healing is a political movement.
Yes.
It's a movement of humanity. Yes. And you wouldn't believe it, the Chinese people have a better understanding that, forgive me, folks, many Americans.
Yes.
Because it is right now not a proof that healing provides a lot of money. on the outside. The outcome has changed. The outcome is different. You know, you can say, okay, so what do I get out? That's a very typical thing. What do I get out when I go there?
Right.
I want to say, my friend, change it around. What can I give? What can I give to myself and to others when I go there, so that my and other people's life gets better? What am I holding back? You know?
Yes. And that spirals right into the next step of flaunt, which is the L, which is laugh out loud. Laughter, joy.
I love that.
Thank you. Yes. Laughter can be
I love that.
simple. Yeah, and so healing. And for some of it, it is boisterous laughing, and others for others of us, it is a quiet laughter. But how can we give laughter to those around us? How can we give joy to those around us? Those are very important questions. And laughter is not something you get after the dishes are done and the house is cleaned and the homework is done. Laughter is something, in my belief, that needs to be done in the political arena, in the religious arena, in the home, in the workplace. We all need to break down those barriers and laugh.
Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful, Laura. I mean, this is why the in India, you know, you have policemen practice laughing yoga, and it's so beautiful to see that. But I think, yeah, there are many things around this. My personal, this is not scientifically or anything evidence proved. It's good that it's not proved, because it's different for everyone. If we are present, I mean, all of Laura is here now, and all of Anne is here now. We could laugh our head off about things, because we don't have to hide behind any social blah blah. We don't have to hide anything, and in the end, everything is pretty funny.
Yes.
I don't mean that in a cynical or sarcastic way, because there are situations where you think it's so terrible you want to die. But in the end, if you look at it if you look at the world as a play, as a play of consciousness, then it's really, it's not so serious. It's not so serious. But only if you, being present, meaning your heart is there fully, and you are with that person, with your family, with your boardroom, with your whatever, you know, colleagues or politicians or whatever, you know, whatever the scenario is. Be present and be in your heart. If we are present and sit fully in our deep knowing who we are, then laughter, you know, just flows out of everyone, I think.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. And to get to that place of laughter, we have to be willing to open our hearts and to realize we're not perfect, we're not better than, we are all consciousness, and we are all in this planet together. And when you were talking about being a global citizen, yes, we all are. We are, you know, on planet Earth together. And that's something else that hits me so much with the healing hotels of the world. You guys talk about the concept of travel to heal. And it's so amazing the connection that we can find between other people from other cultures and other countries. And I believe that is so healing as well. Anna and I actually met in India. And that was, you know, a different culture. She's from Germany, I'm from the US, we're meeting in India. We can all laugh at some of the cultural, you know, mistakes or faux pas, because we're learning. But our hearts are open, and we're not saying, how dare you? We're saying, welcome to my culture. Isn't this funny? And then we're finding this common ground, and it's beautiful and it's healing. And I don't know about your experience, Anne, but I felt so accepted by the sisterhood in India.
Yeah, I felt too. And it's interesting. You would feel the same when you come to our Healing Summit, which I also like to talk about a little later. But I think in the World Women Economic Forum, women from all over the world, met in a place where I've traveled to India for over 25 years, so I'm a hopeless fan of that country.
Oh, yes.
And I've adopted so many, of the practices there. And I've actually never felt any more welcome, no matter how I look, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, as in India. And that is an inherent thing there. But I think and then women came together, and I think that is maybe a handle for all of us to explore further. We came for a purpose. Remember, we were invited to come for a purpose, and the purpose was to look into what can we learn from one another. Yeah, not about being better. I'm not better than you. Blah blah blah. All of that. What can we learn from another, and how can we make sure that women have a, let's say, words, not safe, have more room to express femininity. I mean, have more room to express what the world needs.
Yes.
And that was the room we gave each other. I mean, and that's why we felt so at ease and had so much fun. There was so much laughter, remember?
Yes. Oh, everything was just enjoyable. And yes, it was wonderful just to approach other people and to share with that complete open-heartedness, and to laugh and to heal and to learn and to share. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think when I was so touched after that conference, because I mean, because it was free of, I think at least I found it free of commercial reasons. There was not much hidden, of course people probably were there, not much of hidden agenda.
Yes.
It was just bringing who you are and be present. I think that was the secret. So yeah, and it was never be fun making, on cost of somebody else.
Yeah.
Or women coming together to be against men. No, nothing like that. No.
I like how you spin it in terms of an agenda, because when you look at our world, I think our global agenda is to have peace throughout our planet, and to have everybody be happy, and to have enough to eat, and to be comfortable. And wow, if everybody on our planet could just focus on the agenda of peace, comfort, joy, what a world we could make.
We can. Here, this is such a great point, because that's a universal question we now put into the universal boardroom. It is really, so what happens in between? I think deep down, every person wants to live a happy, peaceful, comfortable, nurturing life.
Yes.
I truly believe that. And where are we stopped on our way? What is that? I think, what is happening? What are we losing? At what point do we start selling our souls? What is it? Worthiness? Do we start to feel unworthy if we don't make up to others? I mean, this is so much science stuff has happened there, but I think we haven't really found a simple path of finding out what happens between. We have the agenda, we have the intention. So it said intention, and attention goes where the intention goes, or something. So we have the intention, we have the attention, and then we should have the actions. And what happens in between? Why do we mess up?
Right. And yeah, it's frustrating. And I think this is a perfect segue that's straddling the line between that laughter and the next step in flaunt, which is AU, accept unconditionally. When we have the intention, and when we are trying to create that change, and then it's not working, I think it's important to look back and to laugh a little bit, to give ourselves some grace. Okay, this wasn't working. To accept unconditionally that didn't work, but we're trying, and to laugh and to move forward. Because otherwise it's so easy to spiral down into shame and blame. Well, it didn't work. You did this. It didn't work because, and like you mentioned earlier, we're all connected. It's all about us. If something doesn't work, it's not somebody else's fault. Let's learn from that. Let's give ourselves grace and laugh, accept that that didn't work and try again, because it's okay. It might work the next time and it might not. We might need to have 3 goes at it before we figure something out. And that's okay.
Yes, I think that's one of the things. I think that, you know, the wish to be perfect, and it either it happens now, I give it a try, no, it didn't work, I move away. This is so dumb. It's really I don't know why we did this, but it doesn't work. I mean, perfectionism is BS. Excuse my French, but it's not working. You can cut this out, Laura, if you want. But I really think, you know, being perfect is not working, because it's not in the human, perfect in our heart, but never perfect in our actions. Until we can strive forward. But that's again a journey. And I want to remind you, today is a day which for me as a German, and perhaps for the world, was very important, because 50 years ago is it 50 years ago? No, I think so. 13th of August, 1961. Yes. 1961, excuse me. The wall was built in Berlin.
Wow.
A wall literally between East and West. And that's not only Berlin, but it was between the Eastern culture and the Western culture, and between East and West. So families were, you know, put on one side, you know, the children on one, the parents on the other. It was a terrible cut in our society. And it was worldwide, because it was a possible restart of the Cold War. And I remember as a young child, I was thinking, I heard this, war is coming back, war is coming back. So what happened then, 1989, so many people came together peacefully, no blood, to open the wall. And it was people. And I remember I was at an airplane at the time, coming from somewhere, and we heard it. And I think everybody broke into tears. It was an amazing moment. Why? The consciousness of us knew that this was a peaceful revolution. And ever since I have lived through this, you know, to both building the wall and then coming down, I know that we have the power, each one of us. We can't say, I can't do anything. It's the government. It's so bad. You know, plastic in the ocean. Okay. It's me. And that is really something, I think, that again, to Healing Hotels of the World, is a thing where people learn to take on responsibility. It is not about going, and it is also at the same time, but that's not the main reason. You know, between wellness and healing is a big gap. Wellness is, you know, I get the pampering, blah, blah, blah. You take care of me. Healing is, I learn from you to take care of myself and the rest of the world. And let myself be educated, I think. And that is really, that drives me crazy if people don't get that. That makes me uneasy, because it's so simple. History has shown us we can change the world for the better. We can.
Oh, yes. Yes. And, you know, that rolls into the idea of perfectionism, too. You know, you mentioned plastic in the ocean. Can I do it alone? No, but I can quit using plastic straws. I can quit using plastic bags. I can quit buying things that are overpackaged. I don't even have to be perfect at that. I can take steps, and I can make it better. And if every single person takes steps to make it better, then the cumulative effect does have an enormous impact. And, you know, I agree with you. I get so frustrated when people are like, I'm not going to do that because I'm one little person. One little vote matters. One little straw matters. One little plastic bag matters. One little act of kindness matters. It all matters.
Absolutely. And I think we may offer tribute to a beautiful Albert Einstein, who said, you know, what is quantum theory, or what is quantum leap? A quantum leap is when people, you know, a certain enough mass of material, or enough mass of people come together, automatically things change. It cannot be otherwise, because it's almost a chemical or a universal energetic thing. And it's so simple. And also I think I can start a movement, like Healing Hotels is a movement. I look at young Greta from Sweden. I don't know if she's so known in the States, but this young 16-year-old teenager from Sweden, Greta, who is, rattling now the world, the United Nations and World Economic Forum and everyone, speaking in parliaments about sustainability. She gets enormous stuff from older people and, excuse me, white men who don't want to believe a young 60-year-old woman. She's doing it because she's doing it. She believes and she's doing it, and see what happens. It's a big movement now.
Yes, yes. And like that, she starts. She didn't start at the end being globally known. She started at the beginning, talking to people around her, and then that gets bigger and that gets bigger and that gets bigger. And so many people, myself included, want to start at the end. We conceive of the idea and we want to have world peace and a sustainable planet, and then we're like, forget it, I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really it's an interesting momentum. I mean, we all have our fears, many fears of being looked at a crazy person. We have many fears of not making it, and then making what? Hello, what are we making? It's all in us, not being, blah, 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 all of this, not having enough and so on, not being enough, not being good enough. Yeah. And I think this is that's the illness of today. I mean, it's so weird because why do people go for detox retreats in healing hotels? Because many of us eat too much of the wrong stuff. And at the same time, so more people die of overeating than people die of being starving. This is a perverted situation.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it's really, I think you can live in huge abundance and all of that is beautiful. But being mindful of others and looking around, feeling around, can I give something? Can I have enough? Can I give something? And if I give, I feel better. And I feel fulfilled. So if I don't give, if I keep it all for myself, I'm hungry all the time because I don't nurture myself. I nurture myself if I give, because it's a different flow of energy.
Yeah. Yes. And with everything, it's so important to have balance. And I feel like that has gotten lost in the US for sure. I'm not so sure about other countries and cultures, but I feel like the US has been so focused on mine. We're always taking more food, taking more space, taking more resources. And it's not bad to take, but we need to have the balance to receive. We can't only receive and we can't only take. And it's so important to have that balance of both. We need to take in order to give, and we need to give to have room to take more. And it's a flow.
It is really. I mean, it's for us, and it's a learning process, Laura. I mean, I learn it every day, and I forget it every second.
Yes.
I know what, I lose myself and then I'll find myself, and I lose myself and I only find myself because if I lose it, my mindfulness, my consciousness, and then I don't feel good in the heart, and that's my sensory thing, then I think, what happened? Why am I feeling off, balance, or what kicked me out of my heart? It's never other people, never. Because how can they do this? I mean, I only live alone in my heart. Nobody else lives there.
Yes.
So I decide for myself. I can create the atmosphere in my heart. It's mine. Nobody can get there unless I invite them in. So I always have a chance to not invite other things in. So I have to look at my what do I do? How do I act? How do I talk to people? Why do I get so angry? Yeah. And or anyway, so we really, mindfulness is a big thing.
Yes.
In a way.
Oh, it is. And The next step in flaunt is the N, and that's navigate the negative. And you were just bringing that up kind of right now. And also at the beginning of the interview, you said you're a lucky person if you've had a lot of problems because you've had to overcome them. And I think that's the beauty of navigating the negative. Just like you said, you're reminded and you forget every day. Enlightenment isn't a state that we reach and then we have no more problems.
Mm-hmm.
Being happy isn't a state that we reach and then we never struggle with depression again. Whatever it is, having, money, food, relationships, joy, it's not a destination that we get to. We always have that cycle, and we always constantly have to navigate that negativity within and training our minds and reminding ourselves, oh, I didn't do the best job at that today. I need to remind myself to do better.
Yes, yes, to do better. And also what I think is also important, especially in the age of self-optimization processes, I think are a bit crazy.
Yes.
If there's one thing, then that's really remember to love ourselves, Not only the purpose is also nice, but purpose is also a thing which I think, okay, really, what does it help me if somebody says, well, what's your purpose? And I feel bad. I don't want to hear about my purpose. I want to feel better. So how can I feel better if I really try something? That's why I do yoga and meditate every day, because and study, study the mind and study my soul and so on.
Yes.
It's really about being compassionate with myself, to really take myself into my arms. I love the inner child work, by the way. I love it. To love my inner child and give it everything it wants at that moment. Have compassion with myself rather than, the intellect, the mind and the soul, according to cultures, it's the feeling, and then the rational thinking is so connected. But the healing, I feel, really happens on such a deep level of self-acceptance and self-love, which is not narcissism. It's not, of course not, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So for listeners who were thinking, oh my gosh, healing hotels sounds amazing. I am in a position right now where I can't travel. You also have this Just Breathe magazine, and that's a healing lifestyle magazine. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and maybe some of the ideas that people can do who are listening to you and I right now and are thinking, I want to heal. I want to feel better. You're right, Anne. You're right, Laura. But how do I feel better right now in my day?
Okay. Yes. Good question. Thank you. Because I'm with my daughter in Vienna, and my daughter is the editor-in-chief of the Just Breathe magazine. So she would be the right person to talk to, but I will not. She would not want to talk right now.
Yep.
It is really Just Breathe was born as a medium, to get it. Remember 10 years ago, I think, or 8 years ago, we found Just Breathe. I don't remember right. We wanted to be free from the website, things at that time. Mm-hmm. We wanted to have a magazine where we invite everyone who has, like Thrive Global, like beautiful Ariana, has created Thrive Global.
Yes.
And sold Huffington Post because she has more freedom now.
Yes.
And we want to have the freedom, and what Eva is doing with the Just Breathe magazine is we have so many authors from all over the world. Of course, we have a lot of criteria, it's not an advertising thing. It's really about, bringing knowledge to people. And it's exactly, publishing stories, inviting people to publish stories and also ask questions, and feeling seen, feeling heard, and not being alone with your stuff. That's what Just Breathe is for, and really offer advice or inviting again, to come out with your things, and then we have also included in our current website. The new website will be launched mid of October. But in the current website, we have started to include meditation and healing sessions for people to just go and find.
Nice.
And I want to say something also. you know, when it is, we are a business, right? So, so we are a business, and meaning that we have a certain business agreements with our hoteliers, and they're all different people, and it's a completely different scenario than you would have in other businesses or hotel brands, because it's really more very, very sensitive, very, very much connected with the soul, not easy to describe, and so on. So we have a way to always trying to, you know, find ways through the information we give out through our website, through the customer, or through our newsletter. So if people subscribes to our newsletters, they will get education, information, how to deal with depression, how to do this, how to do that. So that's what we offer. We do not talk about new rooms or rates or something. We talk about in our global promotion and marketing and all of that. We talk about things people can feel.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I think is so beautiful about both the hotels and, you know, Just Breathe. When I peruse both of the websites, for the magazine and for the hotels, that's exactly what it talks about. It's like how, you know, how to eat and how to be mindful and, you know, anti-stress. And there was an article that I read on in the Mindfulness magazine website, or Just Breathe magazine website, about, you know, the benefits of walking on the beach. And anybody can go to a hotel or go and walk on a beach, but sometimes it changes the experience to have somebody tell you why it's beneficial and what to focus on, so you can really get out of your head and into the moment. And like you said earlier, that fully being present. And I think, yeah, that's the difference with looking at the healing hotels of the world. People go to these places for presence. It's not just a place to sleep so you can run. It's being present where you are.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way you describe this, because, and that's the reason for both Just Breathe and Healing Hotels of the World. It's really about, I think what we all do in our organization is we offer what we have experienced ourselves. So Eva has experienced many things. She has lived in many places on earth, studied many, you know, things, many, you know, she has been around a lot, and she's a very super sensitive, beautiful soul, and very smart. So, and very, you know, she is very realistic at the same time.
Yes.
And so she's very careful of offering ideas and that really work, not the self-help stuff, which sometimes drives me crazy, because it is really about a compassionate opening of a window to another perspective, if I may say so.
Yes. Yes. Because I hear what you're saying about self-help, and I like that all kind of comes in with this navigating the negative. We want to get better because we want to feel better. But so often then it focuses on a list of things that you have to do in order to get better. Well, the list of things that you quote unquote have to do don't make you feel better, because healing is inside of us. We are all healthy, whole, and complete. And where I need to focus in that moment might not be where somebody else needs to focus. So then when I'm looking at some external list that has nothing to do with my soul, I don't feel better. And I think that's kind of the gift of being able to just be present in a place with spa treatments available, yoga treatments available, hikes or walks available. Whatever my soul calls out for, it can have, because
yes,
I'm healing.
Oh my God. Yes, Laura, that's beautiful. I think that's the beauty of that journey, at the same time the challenge, because first of all, we have to believe that this is true.
Yes.
You know, for me, being on my own spiritual path, so to speak, for 25, 26, 27 years, until I really believe that my soul is sacred, or that I really have everything inside of me, it took
Yes.
a very long time. And maybe I'm a stubborn human being, but it took a very long time. And it still takes time. I forget, the moment I know it, and then something happens, and I forget.
Yes.
And then I have to go back. So, and I think that is actually, thank you for bringing this up, because again, that is, I know my team would kill me, but I say it, healing is not about detoxes.
Right.
And it is in the same way, because, when you detox your brain and your mind and your soul, of course you heal.
Of course.
And also when you go on a retreat where you stop eating the stuff you normally eat, something is churned inside of you. Something has room finally to show its beauty, the inner beauty. Because before we have a tendency to stuff ourselves with things so that we don't feel. So I think there's so many different angles here, but I think it's also, what I like to say is we have to be so super patient.
Yes.
Some people go on a yoga, meditation, or whatever retreat, or you want to call it, a life-changing thing, and stuff happens immediately, right? I mean, and other people, it takes a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a different, you may call it karma, it's a different whatever, so it really, and there is no must. We don't have to do anything. We have a free choice.
Yes. Yes. I love that you said that. And that spirals us right into the last step of flaunt, which is the T, trust your truth. And and that goes to both healing and not healing. If I am feeling called to do something, I need to trust my truth into doing it. And I think it's easy for those of us who are on a spiritual journey and who have experienced pieces of healing and know how good it feels to sometimes want to put our truth on other people too. You should just do this. You will feel so much better. And it's our truth. And we need to allow them to have their truth at the same time. And I believe ideally we should all come to that place. But you're right. We have free will. And if we don't want to heal, we certainly don't have to.
No, and I think, and at the same time, absolutely right. And that is a difficulty of our brand, because we cannot, we are not just selling luxury.
Nope.
And we are not selling anything. We're just offering. And it's a whole, totally whole movement, Laura, which also comes into the theme of economy, because money comes in big time, all the time. And now money is beautiful. I mean, money is an energy. I love it. It's beautiful. It's supporting. It helps us. And at the same time, we abuse it, right? So we use it as a measurement for something which it is not. It was never meant to say, how worth are you? Or what is your worth?
Yes.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. And so I like to say something here. And we have created out of that the so-called Healing Summit once a year. It's the 6th edition, took place in Portugal this year in May. And that where people come together, very wealthy, beautiful, very well-known people, philanthropists, people from all over the world, mixing with pioneers of health and healing and scientists and all of that, come together in a way with maximum 150 people once a year to discuss that. How do we move forward? How do you really take that leap? And what happens there is these are all amazingly professional, people they know, but we start feeling together. We feel and we heal. And that's why I want to encourage everyone to go on that healingsummit.org website.
Yes. And where else? Okay, healingsummit.org, but can you give the web address for Healing Hotels of the World, or if you've got a personal website where people can learn more about you and some of these services? So if they're thinking, gosh, a lot of this interview resonated with me and I'm not sure what I want, but I know I want to feel a little bit better, they can find out some more. information?
Yes, please. Yes, the doors are open. So healingsummit.org is the event. And the website for Healing Hotels of the World is www.com. No, healinghotelsoftheworld.com.
Okay.
And justbreathemag.com.
Got it. And I will put all of those up on my website show and on my healing pages as well, because we all heal in different ways. And I truly believe in sharing all of our resources together so that the right people can find the right resources at the right time.
Oh, yes, please. And you know what? Let's have a lot of fun while we do this.
Yes.
You know, as a German, it's on my agenda not to be too serious and be crazy and be a child and be a hippie and play my guitar and sing songs and act like a child and I want to invite everyone to test that out. Don't be so serious, people. It's boring.
Oh, Anne, I love that.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for your beautiful energy, your wisdom, your demonstration of compassion towards yourself, your strength in letting people know, you know what? It's hard and it's beautiful when it's hard. And look at what I've created out of me finding my own fetish and giving people the grace and the space and the inspiration to heal themselves and to create beauty, not only internally in their own world, but externally as well.
Yes. Thank you so much. But I want to thank you, Laura, because giving me that space to just be Anne, right? Without anything, no preparation and know what I'm going to say, just be me. That was beautiful. And you opened that door for me. And I hope I see you in person again soon somewhere in the Universal Boardroom.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm hoping I can head to that healing summit as well.
Yes, you're invited.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, you have a fantastic day in Vienna. I hope you heal and enjoy. And I am going to just observe the beautiful energy of the mountains up here, maybe soak in the hot springs, and I'm going to take my healing journey as well.
That sounds awesome. Fantastic. Lots of love. Big hug, my dear.
Thank you. Same to you. And listeners, wherever you are at in the world, please take some time today to go outside, to connect with yourself, your heart, with nature. And even if it's only for 3 breaths, please connect and heal. Have a fantastic week. And as usual, don't forget to flaunt.
Tune in next time to Flaunt. Build your dreams, live your sparkle with radio host Lora Cheadle every Wednesday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Come release self-judgment, reveal your naked self-worth, and re-choreograph a life filled with joy. Flaunt. Find your fetish, laugh out loud, accept unconditionally, navigate the negative, and trust in your truth. Find out more at LoraCheadle.com. That's LoraCheadle.com.